air-to-air photography flying, chasing Tom Cruise through Star Wars Valley. We're going to be talking to the man, Kevin LaRosa, in this episode of
In the Hangar.
Hi, and welcome to a special episode of In the Hangar. We are coming to you from AirVenture at the Flying Eyes booth. I'm Dan Milliken.
And I'm Christy Wong, and I'm very distracted by airplanes right now. There's a bunch of jets and stuff flying around.
You would think we're at an air show.
You would think so. There's something going on.
So Flying Eyes, who is making this possible, you can go to flyingeyesoptics.com. They've got great sunglasses and prescription glasses that can become sunglasses. Use our discount code, taking off all caps one word. And also Clemens Insurance at clemensinsurance.net. Jerry saved me over 4 figures on my insurance.
Awesome. You know who else sounds like they need to be insured?
Yeah. So Kevin LaRosa, stunt pilot extraordinaire. Are you insurable?
It's tough. Yeah, I think there's a special insurance category for me.
Oh, yeah.
No, we are. I mean, that's one of my jobs as an aerial coordinator, right? Is compliance and making sure that we return the exact same amount of people we took off with back to the ground. We like taking the extreme level of aerial cinematography right to that line, and we don't cross that line. We live in a place where we know we can guarantee the safety of the aircraft and the crew. So we have to be insurable or else we couldn't do our work.
Yeah, a smart underwriter is going to know you guys are probably less of a risk than the 50-hour a year GA pilot.
You know, it's interesting you say that, and I always tell people this. What we do, it's not really about cranking and banking and how low we can get. It's so methodical, it's so well planned out, and it is so heavily involved by the FAA or whatever governing authority, whatever country we're working in. It has to be.
Yeah. All right, when we talked to you last, we're catching up with you from last year. If you want to see last year's video, I'll put a link somewhere. But it was fresh off of TopGun Maverick, were what was your title in that?
I was the aerial coordinator and the lead camera pilot, so I flew both the camera jets and the camera helicopter and did a lot of the ground photography coordinating.
How much flying did you do for that movie?
It was a mammoth amount of flying. I mean, we've never seen an aviation movie like that. I was almost on it for a year long.
Wow.
There was a testing phase because I came up and trademarked that design, the Cinejet, the L-39. Later on, my friend Jonathan Spano gave us his Phenom 300 camera ship to fly. So there was all of this new technology that we had to make sure was going to accomplish what we needed to do for the movie. And then on the back end of the movie, that's working with the VFX folks and the post folks to make sure the movie looks authentic and the aerials are being used the best way possible.
Now, in my business, I run a video and film production company. I have used remote camera systems off of helicopters and stuff before. Why, it was Robinson R44 in this particular case, and the camera system was more expensive than the helicopter. Is there a middle ground? Because it's almost like to be able to do this really good aerial cinematography, you've got to spend lots of 6 figures to be able to get into it. Is there anything that's lower budget that can work for, the people that don't have upper 6 figures?
Daniel, of course. I mean, the beauty of aerial cinematography is there's so many different levels of creativity and also just of what it costs and the gear that's available these days. You don't need a $500,000, camera gimbal to go do what we do. In fact, I see social media channels flooded with aerials that I'm impressed by, that I love seeing. So I feel like there's this new group of creative folks that just love filmmaking and aviation, just like I do. I love watching all of their content, and they're not going out there buying $1 million camera systems. There's so much more gear that's just readily available to the prosumers.
I mean, I've seen people do it with just cell phones, with the camera technology and the cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, the cell phone stuff looks great. I mean, really what it's about is, I always say it's about the lighting, it's about the subject aircraft, and just the really good camera moves.
Okay, you gave us a tease that what you were really looking forward to a year ago was a new movie coming out that I'm incredibly jealous that you got to do all the aerial coordination for, because my favorite plane in the world is an F4U Corsair. So talk about that movie and that experience.
You must be talking about Devotion.
I am.
Devotion is a very special story. We came off of a big Navy movie, Top Gun Maverick, and we got the call from Black Label Media, who's producing Devotion, saying, hey, we want to do this all real, except we want to use authentic 70-year-old aircraft and put them in the proper elements, so icy, snowy conditions, and show the world what they were really having to endure. The pilots, the aviators, the heroes, the support staff. The book, if you don't know, written by Adam Makos, a great friend of mine, our director, J.D. Dillard, all had the same vision and dream to do this practical. Real stunts, real flying, very similar to Top Gun Maverick, except we're using vintage aircraft. So what did we do? It's all about the team, right? So I went out in the industry. We found the best warbird cinema pilots we could find. We brought in the Steve Hintons, Jr. and Senior, and John Maloney. We had aircraft come from different museums. Ericsson gave us Mike Oliver and Jim Martinelli with the Skyraider and Corsair. We had beautiful aircraft, authentic, and even to make them more authentic, we repainted them all. We made them
I was wondering if
VF-32.
they'd let you repaint them.
Well, we have a wax formula we put on the aircraft that can be removed once filming's done. But we wanted to make sure that the audience was getting to watch aircraft as they would have looked. Now, we weathered them with peeling paint and exhaust and oil. That's the authenticity, the level we went to make sure that it was perfect. Our cast, Glenn Powell, who played Hangman in Top Gun, flew in these aircraft, except for those aviation buffs out there, there's no dual control Corsairs.
No, there's not.
So we brought in a Sea Fury from Rod Lewis and his aircraft collection. We painted the tail to match the Corsair, the tail very similar. We made a Corsair cockpit, and that's how we flew our actors in the back of that airplane so that they could experience real G-forces and be up there in the elements.
He went and got his private, didn't he?
I think Glenn might be to a commercial
By now. Okay.
And Tarzan, who from Top Gun Maverick, also has his license now. So congrats,
Nice.
Tarzan. And I heard there's a rumor that there's 2 other cast members, will go unnamed, are looking to get their license now too, which is music to our ears, right?
Yes, it is.
We gave them the bug.
So what's next for you?
Well, we just started a new movie with, I like to say, the Top Gun Maverick team. So same director, Joseph Kaczynski. I'm under heavy NDA, but I think they've started marketing the movie now. This one's not in the air. This time we're going to go fast on the ground. So this is going to be a race car movie.
Okay.
And I've been selected to do some helicopter photography chasing the cars.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, and also...
I was going to say, were you involved in the Mission Impossible movie?
No, I
Okay.
didn't do Mission. Nope, I didn't. There is another aviation movie coming out this year. It's a documentary about the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. So we shot that
really?
in a very cinematic
Oh.
fashion. I think I was the first civilian to get a helicopter inside of the aerobatic routine from the Blue Angels.
Oh, wow.
And we shot it in IMAX quality cameras.
Okay,
Wow.
This
I'm
is
interested.
going to be epic.
Do you know when it comes out?
This year. I
Really?
think it's second or third quarter of this year we're going to start seeing it.
Okay. I look forward to that.
Oh, wow. For a young pilot out there that wants, who for some bizarre reason thinks what you do is cool, I don't know why, how would they get into doing what you do?
The best advice I can give to somebody is, one, you have to truly love it. And most people I talk to, or most young pilots, I can see the same passion that I had for it, right? So when you're passionate about something, you figure out a way. You never work a day in your life because you love what you do.
figure out a way.
And the key, I think, to what I do is I love filmmaking and I love aviation. And I like mixing those two things. And I immersed myself in camera technology, understanding lensing, understanding the lighting, understanding camera movement. And then I also, of course, aviation is just through and through in my family. I love everything aviation. You mix those two things together and you're going to have a pretty strong basis foundation. So that's the knowledge. So you got to be good at what you do. And then the other thing I always say with anything, you just got to be a good person. People got to want to work with you. So if you're a good person, you're great to work with, and you have that unresounding just want to do good work, you will make it happen. And just immerse yourself in the industry, partner with people that have airplanes, join formation clubs, start filming airplanes every chance you get, and you will find a way. It'll just blossom.
I agree with that.
Good words. Christy and I, in a World War II buff, did a top 5 most impactful planes of World War II. So I want to put you on the spot. In your opinion, the top 5 airplanes of World War II that made the most impact?
Any country or U.S.?
Any
country.
Any theater.
Okay, North American P-51 Mustang, Boeing B-17,
Okay.
B-24 Liberator,
20.
B-25,
Yes.
as that was our first strike back
Yes.
to
Yes,
Japan.
and that's why she picked it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right.
Let's see.
got
Adversary aircraft.
2 more.
I have to go with the ME-109 and the Spitfire. I
Okay.
think I
Okay.
hit 5 right there.
There's 5 right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
it's
that was-
interesting. We picked We have 3 of the 5.
Nice.
We did
That's good.
not pick the P-51 Mustang.
That was our our honorable mention, just because the P-51 it's one of those like you either love it or you're like, oh, you're selling out.
Is there anybody that says that airplane's so perfect?
Because I can't get enough of the Corsair, so it has to be up there.
Isn't that airplane
so
incredible?
The P-51.
I'm a P-51 lover myself.
I know
but
you are, because
working
when
on
we talked last time, that was the plane you said, out of everything, that's the one you like to fly the
that
most.
was it. But in working on Devotion, it came very close to being replaced by that Corsair. That airplane
okay.
has a ramp presence and a
Yes, it
sound
does.
to it. You can
Yes.
just feel the thing in your chest. I would say that airplane is just beefy and powerful and mean. It's built like a tank. It is an impressive aircraft.
Yes. And pretty and sexy.
One of mine actually was the Zero.
Oh, yep, that's pretty profound.
Yeah.
airplane.
0 too, because of the impact.
And it's funny because here I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw them off. And I think all 3 of us wound up choosing the Zero.
Now, we got a lot of comments.
We did.
We didn't get as many comments that I thought we'd get from leaving off the P-51, but when people talked about the 109 quite a bit, that we left that off and that needed to be in there. And I'll argue that one, but one that they're right that we left out that I think should have been in there is the C-47.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Effectively,
Without
the
that,
DC-3,
Specifically
yeah.
with D-Day and
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
sure, it's a transport plane, but without it,
I agree. And you know what? After going back and reading those comments and thinking through it, I read a book recently about the history of American Airlines and how they took all of these commercial DC-3s and outfitted them for the C-47, and then they wound up having to re-outfit a bunch of them to go back into commercial service. And just reading about that, and once I saw the profound impact that the DC-3/C-47 had in World War II, I regret
not listing
that.
that one in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know something interesting? The Mustang, I'm a little biased because it's got a
Right.
place in my family
When you've
heritage.
flown it.
My grandfather flew P-51s for the New Jersey National Guard.
And a Connie just
I was
flew by,
like, that
by
was
the way.
just a Connie.
I think the Constellation just got here.
Yeah.
It just
It
flew
literally just flew by.
It just low passed.
It sounded amazing. Took my train of thought away. No,
Yeah,
what I was going to say was my grandfather flew Mustangs. My dad owned a beautiful D model Mustang for a long time. And as a teenager, one of my jobs was to polish the Mustang. If I wanted
my
to ride
gosh.
in it, I had to clean it all the time. And here's what I'll tell you. The lines on a Mustang appear as though a computer system would have had to make them. The way the panels fit together, the rivets, just the lines and the aerodynamics of that Mustang, they don't look human designed. And when you read about how that airplane was designed and how quickly that airplane was designed for
Yes.
the war effort, slide rules.
Yes.
Amazing engineers came up with that airplane. It's crazy to me when you're actually just looking at the lines and contours of that airplane.
For Christmas, my wife bought me a book on how that plane came about.
I mean, that's the kind of intimate, detail though that you've had exposure to, that somebody like me has never had exposure to that. So I guess in that sense, I've never been able to appreciate it like that.
Yeah, you were up close personal with it. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I totally agree. I agree with you 100%.
Can I ask you guys my favorite question for Oshkosh to do to
Okay.
people?
Yeah.
You get to take one airplane home from Oshkosh 2023, and you can't change it, you can't repaint it. It's going to stay with you forever. And bills don't matter. Don't have to buy gas.
Bills don't matter.
Because
I
a lot
already
of
know
us, I
your
can't afford to
answer.
fill up most of the gas tanks on these airplanes. So what airplane do you guys take home with
Well,
you?
we know my answer, but go ahead, Christy, yours. Oh, you want me to answer while you think about it?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't have
a-
to think
that's
about
a
it.
tough
Now, I mean,
one.
part of me says, okay, well, the C-5A just landed, or the Connie, or whatever. I would have to take one of the beautiful Corsairs that
I
they've
knew
been
it.
flying.
See,
So
I
I
knew
would
it.
take a Corsair.
Yeah.
Even though there's bigger, better stuff out, I'd take the Corsair because I wouldn't have to repaint it. They're beautiful.
An airplane that's actually here. See, I would just take an Embraer home with me if I could.
You would
But there's
take an
not one.
Embraer.
See,
She
I
flies a
I'm-
175, E-175. for
Yeah, I
work.
fly the Embraer 175.
Hey, fellow Embraer pilot.
Yeah,
Very
what's
nice.
up? Yeah, Brazilian.
Phenom 300. Not
There you
quite
go.
as
See, I mean, it's the same. It's different, but it's Embraer. I would take an Embraer home because I just love the design. I love their technology. I love the progression of what they're doing. I know that sounds completely cliche,
No,
but
it's a great airplane.
and it's practical.
It is.
I say practical. I'm taking
because
a
you can
jet
take
home.
60 of your best friends wherever they want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Embraer always gets a kick out of the fact that on Top Gun Maverick, we chose the Embraer Phenom 300 to do our carrier landing. So that's Maverick's point of view when he's landing on the
It's the
F-14.
Phenom.
In the movie, there's like a 2-second shot of what he's seeing on approach in the F-14.
Right.
And that 2-second was a whole day of me shooting 11 passes in a Phenom 300.
Perfect.
And that's the
The-
first time something like that was allowed to land on the carrier,
Yeah,
right?
I had a 10-foot restriction. And I remember on my last landing, we knew it was the last one because we got it on the 10th take. And we're like, we need to do it one more time, I think, just because
And
why
you
not?
landed it?
No,
No,
I
just
wasn't.
low
I had a
passes.
10-foot restriction, but the funny thing is on that last approach, I had it all dialed. Everything was set up. I was watching the meatball in my Phenom, and I'm like, man, if I just squeak the throttle off a little bit and just accidentally
Touch.
bolt her, did I get to log that? I would have gotten fired,
Touch and
I'm sure,
go.
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But how cool would that have been?
But
That
then
would have
your-
been cool.
But then your carrier qualified.
I guess.
It's
Or
probably
never,
worth it.
ever invited back.
Yeah. Okay, question back at you out of everything.
Oh, mine's boring. You already know my favorite airplane. It'd be a P-51D. I would love that airplane through and through the rest of my life.
I like how you guys are like warbirds, and I'm like, I'd take the practical plane.
Yeah.
You're
No.
probably smarter than us. Be more
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, probably. Well, Kevin, thanks for coming and joining with us. If people want to know more about your company and what you're doing, where would they go?
So we put a lot of stuff on our social channels. So I'm K2 LaRosa. Try to put a bunch of behind the scenes on there. My website's KLaRosa or K2LaRosa.com. And I just started a new company back in January I'm pumped about. The company's called X Brand, and it's comprised of all of the motion picture specialists that I work with on Top Gun Maverick and Invotion, all these big movies, the Blue Angel ones. So it's myself backed up by a couple pilots, including the Red Bull pilot, Aaron Fitzgerald. He's a brother
Oh, yeah.
of mine, so he's part of this company. It's the cinematographers, the engineers, the camera technicians, and we have the camera gimbals, the camera jets, the helicopters. It's our house that we're going to operate worldwide to hopefully take aerial cinematography to the next level. So I'm super passionate and excited about that. That's xbrand.com.
Awesome.
Xbrand.com. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget our sponsors. We've got 67 Designs, the best camera, tablet, smartphone mounts you can get for your plane. Also, MPS, Marshall Protective Services, Personal Security Elevated. We've got Colton Mortgage, ColtonTakingOff.com, and Z-Vision, the brightest landing and taxi lights.
And of course, as always, like, subscribe, share our content. We'll see you guys next time.
In the hangar.